Welcome to the Jill on Money Show. It's Tuesday, April 8th. And yeah, I have a raspy voice. I went to an event last night and the cocktail hour, it was like a charitable event. Cocktail hour, it was like 1,000 degrees. And then the ballroom was like minus 1,000 degrees. And so I went from heat to cold, which is basically the weather we've had here in New York City for the last few days. So Mark, how are you? How's your voice?
You tell me. How's my voice?
Sounds great. I'm
All
so
right.
excited. Do you want to do any of the stuff or do you want me to do it all with my raspy voice?
What was that?
You're going to keep making me talk. So anyway, gang, I'm going to try to limit how much I am talking today. I will listen intently. But if you've got a question, go to our website, jillonmoney.com, click the contact us button, write us a note. And Mark, what happens at that moment when you get the box where someone says, I want to be on the air? What do you do next?
I have a couple categories that I throw people into, depending on what kind of question they're asking and some of the details of the person asking the question. And then, then they're in the queue.
They're in the queue, and Mark makes it happen. While you are on the website, waiting to get to the front of the queue, if you have like a deadline, obviously make that known. We had somebody who had to make a decision within 2 days of getting a buyout offer. So do that with us. Make sure we know that. But while you're on the website, sign up for the free weekly newsletter. It comes out every Friday, and check out all the content that lives there. You know the drill. Hey, let's get to the listener. Miriam is on the line with us. She is from the Pacific Northwest. Good morning, Miriam. What can we do for you today?
Well, I am not very experienced in finances, and my husband and I are edging towards a late retirement, not an early retirement, and most of our funds are in Fidelity. I am wondering if I should, because I have such limited knowledge with finances, if I should really take the offer of the hybrid advisor role that Fidelity is offering me. We've met with a financial advisor there 3 times now, just trying to figure out what might be best. I really just want some outside advice. So I'd appreciate any input that you guys have.
Sure. How old are you, Miriam?
I am 66.
And your husband?
He's 71.
And you guys are both still working?
Yes, we're both still working.
How much money do you earn right now?
Right now, 0.
What do you mean 0? You said you're still working. You don't make money?
Right. Well, because primarily we live in a tourist-driven area and we're coming up on the tourist season.
Oh, I see.
Our money, because of our life, our living, that I'm an artist and he owns a cafe, our money is kind of hit and miss. It's not like we have a regular salary. Sometimes we earn.
If you look at 2024, the taxes that you just filed, what was the earning? What amount of money did you earn last year?
In 2024, we didn't earn any money, but in years prior, we've done quite well.
Huh. This is very odd. Okay. Has your husband, is he collecting Social Security?
He is.
How much is that? You made that money.
Right. It's about $2,200.
And what about you? Are you collecting yet or no?
No, I'm not. I'm not going to collect till I'm 70.
Okay. And at 70, what will that amount be?
About $1,750.
So how are you supporting yourselves? You've got his Social Security. What else in terms of like how you are paying your bills? Are you pulling money from a portfolio?
No, I'm not pulling money from a portfolio because we own a commercial building. We have extensive kind of cash savings associated with keeping that afloat. That's how we kind of live in the off season.
I see. And how much is that commercial building worth?
That commercial building is worth about $600,000.
Is there a mortgage on it?
No, we own it outright.
Okay. In that building, is that where the cafe is?
Correct.
And are there other renters in there?
We have one other renter in there, and we also have a short-term holiday rental in there as well. And also my art studio is in the same building. Okay.
So on an annualized basis, how much money does the commercial building take in?
Directly to us, our current renter is only paying about $475 a month, something like that.
Okay, got it. how much money do you have in the commercial savings account?
About 90,000.
Okay. And what about your own savings, like just your personal, not the commercial building?
Right. I personally have 40,000, maybe a little bit more than that.
You and your husband, or do you have separate accounts?
No, we have separate accounts.
And what does he have?
I added his number into the commercial, and probably for his personal, I think he has around 20,000.
Okay. So like 70 and 20 in that
Right.
commercial. Okay. Gotcha. What about, so tell us what's at Fidelity.
At Fidelity overall, and of course it's changing rapidly,
Yes.
we have around 312,000. So not a ton. That's including the IRAs.
What's in IRA? What's in non-IRA? Let's break that down a little bit.
In the brokerage account, there's 190,000. In retirement, I have 102,000, and my husband has 23,000.
Any other assets outside of the commercial? I'll get to your personal residence in a second, but the commercial building, 2 savings accounts, the Fidelity brokerage, the retirement accounts. Any other assets?
Yeah, we have 120,000 in a CD that will be, we'll need to do something with it at the end of June.
Oh, it's coming up.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now, what about your house? What's that worth?
We live in a land trust, so we don't outright own our house, but we have what's called a renewable lease, a 99-year renewable lease.
Mm-hmm.
And so we pay approximately about $800 a month for a house that we helped build. Then our daughter will also be able to inherit that.
Wow.
Though I don't know that she'll want to, but that'll be an option when we die.
Okay, this is fascinating to me. So if you were to pass away, you two, and your daughter inherits it, but she says, I don't want it, is there any terminal value to that lease?
No, the whole idea about the land trust is that you're not making a profit.
Got it.
With the sale. It's to keep the whole thing affordable for anyone else buying into the land trust. And we really like that.
That's cool. That's very cool. I mean, also, by the way, it's very affordable for you, right? I mean, $800 a month.
Right.
Pretty awesome, right?
Yeah, no, it is.
Does that also include your property taxes or not?
Yes, that includes everything.
Oh my gosh. It's incredible.
Yeah. Another thing I didn't mention is we have an additional commercial lot next to our building, and that's worth about $120,000.
Is there any reason we should keep that?
Well, we like it, and it's being used right now with my husband's cafe.
It's being used, but
as like an outside eating area.
Oh, I got it. So, okay.
Yeah.
You've got, it would appear, low expenses. Do you have any idea what your total spending is?
It's less than $4,000 a month.
It's less than $4,000 a month. So let's just, can we call it $4,000 a month?
Yeah.
Just because? Okay.
And that's pretty much the number I gave to the advisor from Fidelity.
Okay. So essentially, your husband has $2,200 a month of Social Security. So a little more than half of what your need is. I know it's pre-tax, but that's about right. And then let's just pretend you guys both retired right now. Explain to me what happens to the commercial building and the lot. Like, what would happen?
Assuming that we're both in good health, and we are
like
we
you
are
just
right
say,
now.
Yeah, you're like, okay, we're done. We're just exhausted. We're done.
We're going to rent out those spaces and create an additional living space upstairs that we can rent out on a month-to-month basis. So ideally, the building will bring in maybe $3,000 a month, something like that.
Is there any thought to saying, well, we have $720,000 locked up in equity in these two properties, right? The building and the lot. Have you given any thought to selling them?
Yeah.
And what's the argument against it? Because I would presume having the access to that money might be very handy, especially as you get older.
Right. And also then I could give our daughter some money for her future building project.
Totally.
Yeah.
And how old's your daughter? I'm sorry.
Almost 40.
Okay. Is she married, single? Was she?
She's single, but she has a good job. She's on around.
Single with good job. Okay. I like that. I mean, look, you've got a bunch of money. When you met with the financial advisor, tell me what they told you about the situation you're in right now.
They told us that we could eventually retire, because actually I was thinking we were never going to be able to retire. And our goal is he wants to retire at 75, and I do too, and he's 5 years older. What she suggested was that we allocate our funds differently than how they're currently allocated now. Mm-hmm. And in that, taking more cash, because we have quite a lot in short term, and putting it more into stock. Mm-hmm. And that would allow us to raise.
It would grow. It would
grow.
Money, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, look, I think you're in very good shape.
That's shocking to me.
Yeah, I do. It's because you don't spend any money, right?
Right.
You have very low expenses. So if you spend, let's look at two different scenarios. One is you've got the brokerage account, you've got the retirement. What level of cash makes you feel comfortable? Like, don't do the commercial savings, like your savings plus what amount of money do we need to have that makes you feel comfortable? 50 grand, 100 grand? What is it?
If we didn't have the commercial building?
Just in general, like
in general.
Yeah.
We came up with a number of about 55,000.
Okay. So let's think about it this way. The CD comes due. You already have 40 grand in savings, right?
Right.
So let's just say that you, in the short-term cash, let's say you put 60, you take of the CD, you say, let me take 20 grand of the CD that comes due, right? And put it in our short-term cash. So then instead of having 40 grand, you have 20 grand from the CD, and now you have 60 grand, and everyone's happy, right? Mm-hmm. Then you take the 100 and you add it to your brokerage account. So now instead of having 190 in your brokerage account, you have 290 in your brokerage account, right?
Right.
Okay. And then the brokerage account and the retirement account, we'll talk about the allocation, but those are kind of that's the ability for you to kind of pull some money out. Maybe we'll take some money, a little bit of money, especially in a year where you're not earning any money. Like last year when you didn't earn any money, I'm hopeful that you took some of the money out of the retirement account and just had it taxed at a really low level. Would be ideal for you. If you have another year where you have like very low earnings, like let's just say the cafe breaks even, makes a little bit of money. You don't sell any art, but you have essentially, I don't know, you have his Social Security. Maybe you're making like 50 grand all in. Okay. In that kind of a year, you should be pulling money out of the retirement account, another, say, 30 or 40 grand. That keeps you in the 12% tax bracket, and you can live on that money. And, he's going to have to start taking money out of his retirement account soon. And the requirement of the right. Tax code is RMDs have to come out, right? So in a year when you don't make any very low income, I would seek to take money out of the retirement account, use that money to live on. You don't have to like dip into any of these other things. Just use that money and make it very easy. And then, frankly, if you did that for the next 4 years, maybe 5, depending on what his story is, but like you just don't need that much money. You could pull a little bit of money out of your retirement accounts together over time, and that'll supplement his Social Security, then your Social Security, right, 4 years from now, and you'll be in very good shape. And presumably you won't really even have to touch the brokerage account at all. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. Now, obviously, if you were to do this yourself, you would have to have some sort of allocation game plan. I'm going to have Mark walk in to this conversation with us now. Mark, stop eating your almonds or your cashews, whatever you're doing.
A mixed nuts today.
Oh, it's mixed nuts. Okay, very good. Mark, what do you think an allocation could be for a brokerage account that would be worth, let's just call it, almost $300,000 for these folks? What do you think?
I don't think they need a ton of risk at this stage of the game. I mean, 50-50, even 40% stock, 60% bond is fine with me.
How do you feel about that level of risk, Miriam?
I'll tell you what the advisor said. She suggests.
No, I want to hear from you first.
From me?
Yeah.
I'm actually comfortable with more risk.
Oh, look at you. She's a player. Okay. So, like, how much more?
70-30 is what I was thinking.
That's crazy.
Is it?
Why would you do? Well, I don't know. I don't think I wouldn't do it for myself.
Okay, that's good.
I would do
good
mostly six. What did the advisor say?
She suggested also 70-30.
I totally disagree with that, but that's me. I guess you could do that, but like, let's just presume it's 3 months from now, and your $300,000 is worth. You make the allocation changes, and now your 300 turns into 220. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, well, that doesn't make me feel as comfortable. Ideally, right now is what I thought we would have more risk, and then as we edge towards retirement, to have less.
But you don't even need to take the risk. What's the point? Like, I guess I really don't quite get why, because your downside risk is a much more significant risk for you than your upside potential. So, like, I don't think you're going to spend all your money. Honestly, I don't know. I wouldn't do it, because at this point, you can, like, basically have this thing grow over time, have a nice balanced portfolio, even if you decide to go 60 stocks, 40 bonds. Let's just say you do that. And it grows and it grows and it grows. And let's say, in 5 years that it is worth not 300,000, but it's worth, I don't know, let's just call it 350, right? And let's say your 70-30, had you done it, would be, instead of 350, would be, I'm just making up numbers now, 400. The extra return that you would get on the upside actually is not meaningfully going to change your life. But if we go into a long, protracted bear market, which spooks you, and it's a recession, so your real estate isn't worth as much, your accounts aren't worth as much, your business sucks, all those things happen at once. It would seem to me that that is a risk that is far more impactful on your lives than the upside potential. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Currently, we have about 37 in domestic, 4 in foreign, 11 in bonds, and 46 in short term. So,
well, yeah, the 46 is too much. I get that.
Too much, yeah.
My 2 cents would be the most amount of risk I would have would be 60 in stocks and 40 in bonds. Mm-hmm. I'd probably be more comfortable at 50-50. And it certainly makes sense that when the CD comes due and when you add that money to the brokerage account, you start to create an allocation that looks more like 50-50 or 60-40. And you can do that with index funds. Now, we talked about at the beginning, you said, do I really need this advisor? Are you willing to shoulder the risk of getting this done? Meaning that, are you going to stick to this game plan, or are you going to get freaked out if the market goes down?
No, I'm not going to get freaked out.
Mark, should they hire an advisor or not?
I mean, I don't know. It just depends on her comfort level.
She seems like she feels comfortable. I mean, look, what if
you always try it?
Exactly.
Well, that's what I was thinking. What if I did it for a year and kind of watched? I mean, I am very curious that if I had done it last year, what would this robo-advisor or the advisor be doing? Like, would some of my lost money in the downturn have been not lost? I don't know.
You know what would happen. We can backtest anything. If you were 70-30, then you would have made money in 2024 and you would have lost more money in the beginning of 2025. But that doesn't mean anything. That's a year. That's a sliver. It's a moment in time. The question is, will you be committed to letting your money do what it can do without messing around with it? See, my only concern about you doing it yourself is that you don't mess around with it if markets start moving against you. That's my main concern. And the other thing I would just point out, because I can, and I'm here, it's fine to do it for on your own for you. You can see how it goes. Get a plan together to get that money invested when that CD comes due, and you can start putting some of your brokerage account cash to work. I would do it also in the retirement account, making sure you're invested. But I would also be very clear that when that CD comes due, you're going to have to get that money to work. So why don't you commit to saying, I have $100,000. I have to put it to work. It's either going to get done immediately, or you're going to dollar cost average, putting a certain amount of money into your allocation each month. right? And you say, by the end of the year, I want to be fully invested. If you feel like you're not going to be able to do that, or you're dissuaded by market movements, then working with someone can be really advantageous. It can just get you moving towards your goal. That's what I think is critical. I would not do, I'm sorry to say, 70-30.
Right.
And also I would very much consider, as you approach your retirement, whether or not your money would be better off being put into a brokerage account rather than being tied up into a commercial property and a commercial lot. Because again, as you get older, you might want that money. You might need that money. If something happened to one of you and you needed care in your home, you wanted to pay for it. There are things that might happen that would require liquidity. I just think it gives you a lot more options. So it's worth thinking about. And as you edge towards late retirement, I think the takeaways are: get your cash to work, use the money in the retirement account, your husband's first, start pulling money out of that account, enough money to keep you in the 12% tax bracket. So for this year, that tax bracket, the top of that is $96,950. Okay. So you pull out enough money, you get that money working for you.
Okay.
Like you said, if you want to do it, you want to hire this person, go hire them. But if you don't want to, you want to try it for a year on your own, that's fine. It's totally fine. It's really like you guys have to make that decision.
No, I know. We're trying to actually be more proactive at this point. So,
yeah, I get that. And I just wanted to, point out the obvious, which is as you enter this period, losses are more meaningful and hurt you more, like your psyche and your actual life. Losses hurt you more than gains will improve it.
Mm-hmm.
That's my leaving you with that message. Hey, do you guys have all of your estate documents done?
We are working on it. I just finished my will, and I'm, trying to do all the medical stuff.
All right, Miriam, thank you so much for joining us. Hey, if you are a late retiree, Mark, I like the idea that we have some people who are not early but late retirees. Hey, get in touch with us. Just go to our website, jillonmoney.com, click the Contact Us button, write us a note. And if you'd like to join the program live, Mark will do everything else. Just check the box. He's so good like that. If you would like, you can also sign up for our free weekly newsletter and subscribe to Jill on Money Live. For $45, you're going to get not only 4 live webinars and the back catalog and special audio and video content, you'll also get all these beautiful tax documents that Ed Slott provides. Mark, those might be worth $45 in and of themselves. I'm telling you, they're fabulous. Anyway, you can subscribe to us on the Odyssey app or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. Try to do something nice for someone else today. Change your work, change your wealth, change your life. Thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.